Welcome to Premier League Predictions Game Week 19, and like usual, there are 10 games for the Premier League, and I will predict every single last one of them. Start off on the 29th of December, it's at 2:30 PM on a Sunday, it's at the King Power Stadium, it's Leicester City versus Manchester City. Both teams are on relegation battle form. That is crazy to say. Man City yet again dropping points. I said they'll get a draw against Everton, and that's exactly what happened. And completely deserved to be a draw. Yet again, they couldn't hold on to their lead. Erling Haaland missed the penalty, then was offside for his rebounded goal. Everything is not going Man City's way. But if you think about it, Leicester are an even easier team than Everton. So you would think, if they manage to get a point against Everton, and Everton is a harder game than Leicester, and Leicester have also been doing absolutely shambolic, then Man City surely can beat Leicester. Surely they can at least beat the teams that are in the relegation zone. I mean, if you think about it, not too long ago, even through the downfall, as people say, for Man City, they still managed to win 3-0 against Nottingham Forest. So, going against a Leicester side which just seems to be awful, I see Man City getting something. Their games are getting easier and easier and easier, and now this is possibly one of the easiest games possible. Man City, you're still not out of the clear, and I don't think you going to the King Power winning will actually be the turning point. But it will be a win, and I think you will get it quite comfortably, but it'll probably be 1-1 at half-time, and then Leicester will eventually give up, and it'll be a complete capitulation at the back, and Man City will win this 4-1 away from home against Leicester. We move to Goodison Park as Everton versus Nottingham Forest. And Everton, they finally stopped the 0-0 draws, but they still continue the low-scoring games, and they still continue the drawing games. They drew to Man City. They seem pretty solid at the back. The defence, brilliant. Jordan Pickford, brilliant. His character is brilliant. And I see them getting a clean sheet against Nottingham Forest. I mean, if you think about it, all season as a whole, on average, normally Forest get low-scoring games, and Everton seem to be getting clean sheet after clean sheet, low-scoring games after low-scoring games. Nottingham Forest defence, the partnership between Mikalenkovic and Murillo is brilliant. Matt Sells, amazing saves in the last game against Tottenham. That was brilliant by Matt Sells and brilliant by the centre-back partnership. And if you've got a rock-solid defence from both sides, and you've got a side like Everton which has barely scored, I see it only one way, and 0-0 makes total sense in this game. Over to Selhurst Park, it's Crystal Palace versus Southampton. You could say this is a relegation battle game, but Crystal Palace, they are not getting relegated. I know they could have done much better against the Gunners to at least make it a closer game. I know they could have easily lost to Bournemouth and probably should have been a bit better against Bournemouth. But before those two games, in my opinion, they were looking very good. Defensively, I've been pretty happy with Crystal Palace this season. And I think they can get a clean sheet here, especially against Southampton, which couldn't score against Fulham. They couldn't score against West Ham. They lost that game against West Ham, and they had a lot of chances. I quite like Kyle Walker-Peters. The amount of chances that came from him on the left-hand side, and his dribbling, I have to admit, is very tidy. His ball control, his dribbling, he looks very premium. But you can create the chances, but they don't take them, and they still lost that game. And now they're going away from home against Palace, which I've been impressed with. They're getting the clean sheet, and you know what, Palace? You are much better than Southampton on paper. At home, it's against last position. Surely Palace are taking this one. So I'm going 1-0 between Palace and Southampton, after Palace are due a win, especially against the easiest team possible. Now we move over to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's Tottenham Hotspur versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. And this new manager, Victor Pereira, back-to-back wins. In fact, back-to-back clean sheets. The red card probably helped Wolves against Man United, but still, Cunha scoring from a corner like that. Well done on capitalising Man United's weakness. Well done for getting a clean sheet. Well done for capitalising the red card. And Wolves thrashed Leicester, proved it against a slightly better team in Man United. And now they're facing Tottenham, which is another of the top 6 team, like Man United, which is no longer top 6. Tottenham, you couldn't score against Nottingham Forest. And you're going to be thinking you're facing Wolves, which are in a relegation battle almost. But the last 2 games, they've been very good. And already Cunha playing fantastic. With already that there, plus Lamina, I see Wolves getting something in this game. Especially that Tottenham are dropping points a lot. And the fact that Wolves have got a bit of momentum, I definitely think they will score a couple of goals now with Lamina back. And especially when Jed Spence has been sent off at the 94th minute, is another defender gone. They've already got a bunch of their defenders gone and their goalkeeper gone out through injury. So already their entire defence has pretty much been injured or suspended. And a lot of inexperienced players that don't normally play, like Archie Gray, is playing. And that's why they're conceding goals. And that's been a big problem recently. So now with Jed Spence also out, puts on the cherry on the top. Lamina's back, Cunha's firing, Wolves are firing, they're getting a point. But Tottenham still have quality players. With Kulusevski constantly scoring, I feel like Tottenham will also get a couple of goals. And it will be a 2-2 draw. But honestly, Tottenham, it's been pretty poor from you. We move to Craven Cottage. It is the Cottagers versus AFC Bournemouth. Now, Fulham, you were brilliant. It was an end-to-end game between Chelsea and the Cottagers. It was brilliant. Calvin Bassey going on a bit of a run of his own at one point. I mean, it was brilliant. They're an exciting team to watch. And Bournemouth are also exciting. They got another 18 shots, but obviously didn't score any. And considering Fulham are constantly in these end-to-end games, also exciting, this is a game to watch. This is going to be so fun and exciting between these two sides. I'm tempted to go down the middle, but I've got this sense feeling at Craven Cottage that the Cottagers are going to win this. Bournemouth couldn't take their chances against Crystal Palace. The Cottagers won it against Chelsea, who are in second. Yes, they only got a 0-0 draw against Southampton, but that could have gone a completely different way. And they still got a point against the Gunners. They still got a point, yes, it was against 10-man Liverpool, but they still got a point there. Considering that at home, considering last time these two teams met, it was 3-1 to the Cottagers, I think they can win it. But I think it's only home advantage scraping it, and it's only because they managed to win against Chelsea, and it's how good I saw them against Chelsea that I think they can capitalise Bournemouth. And I'm going for another Fulham win. They won it 3-1 last time. They're going to win it 3-1 again towards the Cottagers as they face Bournemouth. We move to the London Stadium, West Ham United versus Liverpool. Could West Ham tickle Liverpool into a corner here and maybe get a point? You never know, there could be a red card towards Liverpool, and at the London Stadium with the home fans, they might be able to get something. Especially that the last 4 games they're undefeated, West Ham, and overall the last 5 games I've been pretty impressed, and they got 3 points against Southampton, so maybe there could be an upset. No, I shouldn't even consider it. Liverpool, they don't have any massive injury issues. They seem to be clean sailing against pretty much any team, and I see nothing but a Liverpool win. I'm going to make it tight because I feel like West Ham have a bit of momentum, but I'm going 2-1 to Liverpool. Quite simple for Liverpool this one, as West Ham haven't looked good at all this season. We move to Portman Road. It is Ipswich Town versus Chelsea, and you're going to be thinking Ipswich, they're relegated. But I don't know, they might be able to get out of it. They're facing Chelsea, which have dropped points in the last couple of games. Obviously, the losing to the Cottagers and only getting a point against Everton isn't fantastic. And at Portman Road, with them, in my opinion, looking like they're Premier League quality at times in the Premier League. Not always, but at times they've been pockets where I've seen a Premier League quality side. And facing a Chelsea side, which I think will dominate this game, I definitely can see it. I think Ipswich might go for a bit of a low block in this game, a bit like they did against the Gunners, and really get those last-ditch blocks and get barely of the possession and try and counter-attack. And I feel like they're going to be able to get a point at home. I've just got this feeling that Chelsea are starting to drop points, Ipswich will play that low block, and they'll scrape a 1-1 draw. I mean, I've seen a lot of, you could say, random scorelines this season that I was not expecting. And this would be one of them. But because Chelsea are dropping points, I wouldn't be too surprised at home for Ipswich to get a 1-1 draw come the final whistle. I'm going to go for it. I don't think Chelsea are perfect, and I don't think they're winning the league title this year. We move to Villa Park. It's Aston Villa versus Brighton and Hove Albion. And obviously I'm a happy bunny that they lost to Newcastle United. And well, completely deserved. Even before the John Duran red card, completely deserved for Newcastle to win that game versus Aston Villa. I mean, they just could not break, let alone the defence. They couldn't really break the midfield. But Aston Villa, they feel good at times, but they also don't. And honestly, before Aston Villa winning against Man City, winning against Southampton, going on a few wins here and there. Before that, they were on a bit of tricky form, and they weren't doing at all good. And especially after a Newcastle loss, and especially with no John Duran, they probably might lose against a very good Brighton side, which created a lot against Brentford. Especially that, I think John Duran is such an important role because he scores in every single game. And maybe it's the case of the reason why Aston Villa got back on this winning form against Southampton, against Man City, after going through a rough patch, it was because of John Duran. And now without him, that prolific striker isn't going to be there. And the fact that Brighton have a great side and they're due a win, I see Brighton winning this. And especially if Danny Welbeck actually returns this time, yeah, I'm seeing Brighton only just about winning this 1-0 away from home, even at Villa Park. Sorry, Aston Villa, but you seem very meh against Newcastle. We move to the game I'm excited for. It's at Old Trafford. It's Manchester United versus Newcastle United. Oh my gosh, Manchester United have fallen to 14th position. They are awful. I'm sorry, Man United, but you are. And now you're facing Newcastle, which I don't think have looked this good all season. Now it's clicked. Newcastle are playing brilliantly against the lower teams and the higher teams, getting clean sheet, getting battering over and over again. And the thing is, even when Newcastle won at the start of the season, and not too long ago, Newcastle still had mistakes. They were a bit open in the midfield, were still making sloppy passes. But now, I remember Eddie Howe saying something in like a interview or something, I can't remember when, but it was saying about he wanted to get the balance right in the midfield with Tonali, Gumerez, and Joe Linton. He wanted to get that balance. And the balance is superb. I thought Sandro Tonali was probably my man of the match again. He didn't get any goals, but I thought he was kind of the heart of the web. He was making great through balls through the middle, great vision, great to look at the spaces and find out pockets. And he created a lot for Newcastle. And not just that, he got the balance right, he was also defending. And Aston Villa struggled to get through the midfield. The midfielders are rock solid, helping out defensively, helping out attackingly, and the defence was also rock solid as well. Martin Dubravka, another clean sheet for Newcastle, 3 clean sheets in a row. You know where this is going. A 4th clean sheet in a row. Sorry, Man United. You've got no Bruno Fernandes, which, yes, this season Bruno Fernandes hasn't been good at all. Bruno Fernandes, not to his usual level, but without Bruno Fernandes, Man United are worse. With them, they are better, even if Bruno Fernandes is not performing well. So now without him, because of a sending off, I see nothing but a Newcastle win. Everything that I praised Newcastle for is going to be the reason for Newcastle winning this. They've got all the momentum. They're through to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. Alexander Isak is scoring. Jacob Murphy, goal contributions. Anthony Gordon, fantastic. Oh my God, I'm hyped for this. 2-0 Newcastle United. I feel quite confident going into this. I'm sorry, Man United. I feel like I'm being a bit rude, but it is true. It's not fantastic. We move to the GTEC Community Stadium. It's Brentford versus the Gunners. And are Brentford going to play that low block, which a lot of teams have tried against the Gunners to try and get some points against, like Everton did, like Ipswich did. But I don't think Brentford will play a low block like teams have tried to do against the Gunners, because they never do. The attacking football is so threatening. So I think they're going to be really attacking. And this could be an end-to-end, but I think the Gunners' defence is better than Brentford's attack. So because of that, because they've proven they don't need Saka, obviously Saka will help improve them, but they've proven that they can do it without him. And the fact that Brentford have now stopped that momentum through home form after losing to Nottingham Forest, and now they've actually lost quite a few and they haven't won for a while, the Gunners definitely can get it. And now they're actually in a title race, they're going to push further and further and they will win this. Sorry, Brentford, you're going to get a goal, you're going to push, but your home record has already been tempered with through the Nottingham Forest loss. So I think it can happen again, especially against the second best Premier League team at the moment. I'm going 2-1 to the Gunners, but it's going to be decently close after I'm impressed with Mbeumo and Wissa. at Brentford. And now, goal of game week 18, I'm going to have to give it to Matheus Cunha. It was a great performance, a great win. Victor Pereira doing great stuff with Wolves. Cunha, what a great corner goal. You scored from the corner, took the corner, and it went in. Whether it was a fluke or not, it's still my goal of the week, and they're very rare. But how did I do? In game week 18, I don't have my fancy graphic, but still, I got 7 points out of 20 points. And overall, that puts me on 97 points out of 358 points. I'm pretty chuffed about this week. It's my best week in 3 months. You can tell I'm chuffed. But hopefully you had a good Christmas. And if you did, why not have a good time right now by checking out this video that I'm about to show you. Toodle pip!